100 audio.
Okay, we're live now. Hello, everyone. This is Didar Muhammad from Right Jobs, and you're listening to the Right Training Podcast. This specific audio series guides employees and job seekers all across Iraq and the MENA region on how to develop themselves, build their careers, and understand what are the right skills that they need to possess. All these and more for you to improve yourself, your skills, and hit your target within your desired industry market only from selecting the right training. Ready to hear the most interesting insight and statistics in the oil and gas industry across Iraq and the KRI? Well, listen up and get important hints to start and develop your career in the oil and gas market. Our respective and experienced guest, Mr. Brusik Ali, training and development specialist in oil and gas operations, will be on the show and will share with you quite some interesting topics related to the oil and gas market. We would like to hear from Mr. Brusk himself about his academic and his career path before drilling down into more oil and gas insight. The stage is yours, Mr. Brusk.
Hello, hi everyone. Um, Thanks for hosting me. First of all, my name is Bruce Karyali. I'm currently a lecturer at the Department of Chemical and Petrochemical Engineering at Salahuddin University. I have a bachelor degree in fuel and energy engineering, and also I have master's degree in environmental and energy engineering from the University of Sheffield, UK. I have started my academic career in the oil and gas industry mainly when I got employed by the Ministry of Higher Education and navigated to Koy University. So there I started as an assistant lecturer at the Department of Petroleum Engineering at Koy University, where I have taught various engineering disciplines, chemical and petrochemical and petroleum engineering disciplines to the undergraduate students for two departments, the chemical engineering department and petroleum engineering department. Later on, I have started to develop my career in the oil and gas industry, where I was assigned to be the head of the health and safety unit at the Faculty of Engineering, where I had more attractions with the HSE professionals in the oil and gas industry. And also, after 2015, I was assigned to be the Director of Career Services of Co-University, where my work focused on two sectors. The first of all, to find internship or placements for the last year engineering students to work during their summer training in the oil and gas companies, both in the operating companies and the service companies, as well as to work with the KRG initiative. There was an initiative termed or named the KRG internship program. It was an extensive program for navigating those young, talented students and to merge them within the industry, to merge their academic background with their future careers.
Oh, that sounds very interesting.
And right now, I'm teaching at the University of Salahuddin and also as a visiting lecturer at the University of Kurdistan, Holy Iraq.
Okay, that's amazing. We're very delighted to have you here today, and sharing your experience with our audience is going to be something absolutely amazing because there are a lot of questions, I believe, in everybody's mind. They're trying to find the right answer, but they just don't get it because there is not the right expert for them to explain it for them. So today, hopefully, we're going to answer a lot of questions for everybody. Let's start first with a rumor. Now, there's a rumor ongoing in everybody's mind, especially in our market. People are feeling like if they go or if they find a job, if they get their hands on a job in the oil and gas market, then that's it. The job is very promising, they're being paid amazingly, their life is secured, everything goes just fine. It's like a dream job that everybody tries to get. What do you believe or what do you think about those rumors?
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, I'm not addressing myself as an expert in the oil and gas industry. I have a very humble academic experience around 9 years in the teaching oil and gas disciplines to the undergraduate students. And also, I have a very humble experience around 4 years of full-time and part-time works at as a training provider. I have worked in training providing in the HSE field and also in the technical. I have delivered various technical oil and gas topics. Well, about that question, rumors. That's why people do name it as rumors. Well, it is not like that. I've been in the oil field, I've stayed there for weeks. It is not like the dream job. It is fine, it looks attractive for people outside, but inside there is a complete world. I'm not saying it is different. No, it is like any other industry. If people are there, there are very hardworking people there. There is a bright side of it where some you may people get developed, gain some skills, and also there is the financial side of it as well. But on the other hand, there are life on stake. So some safety and security issues that has been passed to or through this industry in Iraq generally and Kurdistan specifically. So to name the oil and gas industry as the dream work, I may not agree with that because it's not a soft work. So mainly that business started. Firstly, there is and say the people who have been jailed started to in this work to be merged in this work because the industry itself was very hard and it was very intense and there wasn't space for the too many people to get involved in it. But later on, by the development of technology and minimizing the gap between the academic and the oil and gas industry, people got degrees and more understanding to enter into this market.
I see. I see. Well, that's very good. Okay, now speaking about the market, in your experience, what are the main qualifications that should exist in an employee to work efficiently in an oil and gas company?
Well, that's a good question. Since the oil and gas is a diverse, there are many disciplines and there are many qualifications can work in it. So there is no specific qualification. First of all, I can tell you what is the oil and gas industry is. The oil and
Okay.
gas industry can be divided into sectors and it can be categorized as the upstream, midstream, and downstream. But the most famous two phases is the upstream. The first one is the upstream, where most of the exploration and the geological work done on then the seismic, then finding the proper location to drill the wells, then the other stage of hydrocarbon production. This is all the upstream. When afterwards come the midstream, although sometimes it's mixed with the upstream, the midstream is involves all the work that's done after the upstream in terms of moving and shipping this hydrocarbon shipment to the refineries. So the work of shipment either by pipeline or trucks or tankers, and also the treatments, the pre-treatments, the removal of the impurities from the crude oil before to send to the refineries. These are all the midstreams, but it's mostly done sometimes on some places within the upstream. But the other important stage is the downstream operations. It is mainly all the work done at the refineries. So you may ask, what are refineries? It is very giant industrial infrastructures that accepts and takes the original crude oil which is component of from hundreds of different hydrocarbon compounds and breaks down the chain between these hydrocarbons and converted through a various processes and complex processes by using the heat and catalyst to into a useful and usable fractions or products, so or cuts,
Mhm.
among which we get the LPG, the liquefied petroleum gas that people normally use it for cooking, and
Okay.
also the gasoline that people are using it for, to power to fuel their cars,
Okay.
and which is termed as locally as benzene,
Mhm.
but it is gasoline, and also the kerosene. Kerosene people do use it for heating, and it's also used for as a aviation fuel
That's it.
or jet fuel. Then other fractions to the middle distillates, things like gas oil, or the common name is diesel. Then to the fuel oil. Then to the refineries are also producing some heavier cuts or fractions, things like the lubricating oil, and ends with asphalt. So this is basically the idea of the up and downstream in the oil and gas industry.
All right, well, that was absolutely amazing. So, I have seen a lot of certificates with different titles such as IOSH, NIPOSH, or HSE that people are being certified for special courses that they're taking. And I especially see a lot of those certificates on LinkedIn. People are posting it, they're being very happy about them. Now, I personally wanted to understand what those certificates represent because people usually, when we talk about engineers, the title engineer itself means that that person, that individual, got a degree, a bachelor degree. So he studied oil and gas, he studied everything, and he should know what he's doing. He should be prepared or ready to work in the field, even at least as a junior. So, what do these certificates represent, and are they like supporting an individual's bachelor degree, or they're needed to work, let's say, in a company professionally?
Well, before I answer this question, I may refer to your previous question about the other backgrounds that's needed in the oil and gas industry. So, as I said, it is very diverse field of work. So you may find people with geology background or geologists, and also petroleum engineering to work either as a production engineer, drilling engineer, or reservoir engineer. These are the main three basic disciplines of petroleum engineering. Also, you need people in the control rooms to manage the aspects of your controlling system, chemical engineers, process engineers, electrical engineering background, then going to the civil works, uh, which many people, mainly from construction guys till the head of construction, who are mainly civil engineering or senior civil engineering background, can be involved with there. Also, to the most of the maintenance that's been done in the oil and gas industry, done by technicians, and they can reach to senior mechanical or manufacturing engineers,
Mhm.
as well as the electrical engineering background. But at the same time, there are other admin people working there who are making sure that the work is going softly and swiftly, mainly the administration, the human resource department, also the health and safety professionals or department, as well as the public relations, the emergency response team, the top management. And so you may see different disciplines from finance to engineering, from
Mhm.
legal department to administration to business development. In the oil and gas industry, there is the room of all of these professions. Okay, right now, as per your current question about posting other certificates, it is important. The university degree or the academic degree alone is not securing a position for you in the oil and gas industry. Why do that? Because there might be a bit of gap between the industry and the academic levels up to a point, but at the same time, the technology has pushed and developed this industry. So there were new divisions being developed within the oil and gas industry, and some other skills are needed recently. So people may not study welding as a bachelor degree, but it is one of the needed, very needed professions. People may not study firefighting in the universities, but it is one of the crucial positions in the oil and gas industry, as well as people with specific skills in doing the designing the equipments, then to following the procedures and running the entire operations.
I see. That's amazing. Right. Well, in this situation, in this scenario, before we start talking about anything else, I would like to show some statistics and data that we gathered between 2020 and 2021. We collected the data from seven of the universities in Iraq. We're not going to mention any of the university names because it's required to be in this way. It's confidential. But so far, we have 3,000, roughly 3,000 graduates in all the universities around Kurdistan. And among those graduates, we have 723 of them only graduated in 2021. Now, we looked upon the statistics that we could get our hands on and analyze them in the oil and gas companies around Iraq in general and Kurdistan. We've seen that the number of expat and local against each other, they are very much away. They're not equal at all. We've understood that most of the unskilled employees, they are locals, and most of the executives, senior management and management, they are expats. So in the highlight of these information in this case, what do the employees, or let's say what are the required trainings that we could give it to let's say our fresh graduates to be more capable and more effective or sufficient in their own field to be hired by the local companies.
Um, Thank you for raising this or demonstrating these statistics. First of all, the oil and gas industry cannot be run by one single individuals or a single group of professionalities. It's a combination of teamworks of each department and each professionality to working as continuously 24/7 to give you the sustainability of this business. Just to refer to these statistics, let me say that the oil and gas industry is not sustainable. So getting a work in the oil and gas industry does not mean, at least in Iraq or in Kurdistan, it does not mean that you may retire and you may spend your next 20 or 25 years in this business and you get retired as the government employees, because this business have passed through many, let's say, unfortunate events, namely the ISIS and then the post-ISIS, where most of the international operators, the oil and gas companies, we do refer to them in Kurdistan as the IOCs, have left due to security and safety concerns. So they have released an army of employees. So there was a large number of employees left jobless for few years. At least there is a gap in their CVs you might face. And also they have there was another shock. It was the COVID. The
Yeah.
COVID-19 shock to the oil and gas industry. So it was, which the industry itself wasn't recovered fully after the ISIS war. Then it was shocked by this COVID thing, where most of the production produced and the movement between the countries, whereas you name the skilled and non-skilled people has been reduced to minimum. Well, as per our universities, I'm very glad to see these numbers. At the same time, it is meant to say that in Kurdistan, we are very modern and new to the oil and gas industry. So it's around or less than 10 years we have started this industry, and our universities still they are producing large fresh graduates, but at the same time there might be a kind of a gap between the industry and the business market and the number of graduates. I think the universities are producing more than our market is demanding. From one point, it is good that people get certificates, get knowledge in these disciplines, but most of the graduates, my students, after their graduation, they are shocked when they are not getting their dream work in the oil and gas industry. And here is where the technical training comes for it. What do I mean by technical trainings? Look, there is a style of we do refer as in learning and development, the T-shaped learning and the I-shaped learning. Look, the T-shaped learning says that the I letter of the T is basically covering most of the hard skills like your university degree, your diplomas, your bachelor's, your area of professionality. But with the T shaped learning, other soft skills and interactions with industry market, your English language skills, also your teamwork, your time management, how you stress to work under stress, and how also to work in groups and for late areas, how many volunteering works you have done. So it's a collective, not only limited to these that I have mentioned. It's a collective of many soft skills that an individual can get besides other technical training with an industrial orientation. So each sector in the oil and gas industry has its own technical training. And when I do say training, there are certified training with a standard level, and also there are some accredited trainings. So let's take the HSE as an example. Within the HSE, people can get basic HSE training, the health and safety and environmental awareness level. They can get into more deep with professional qualification, starting with IOSH working safely, level 1 degree, then to IOSH managing safely, level 2 degree, and then I'm not promoting for these qualifications. I'm just naming the most common ones in the industry. Then things like NIBOSH, International General Certificate, and also it can be advanced up to NIBOSH diploma or having master's degree in this area of specialty. It's the same case as let's take the drilling operations in the example. There are some categories in this field that the drilling engineers, the drilling supervisors, the senior drilling engineers need to have it beside their bachelor's degree. Things like the IWCF, International Well Control for You, and the IADC, the International Drilling Associations Contractors. So these trainings, some of which has a time limit, like an expiration from 2 years, 3 years, and some of it is lifelong, the HSE ones, but also they need to have a refreshing training. So things like H2S or the hydrogen sulfide awareness training, every single individual in the market, in the oil and gas industry, mainly those who are working in the field, need to have it. And this needs to be repeated and to have done a refreshing training annually. Sometimes it's every 2 years, sometimes every year, based on the risk assessment and evaluation that's done by the HSE department of that individual company.
That's amazing because we're not only talking about an employee's development of their career, we're also talking about their own safety because while they're working in the field, it's quite dangerous. So such certificates are really taking care of the health and risk minimizing aspects. Okay, then in your own experience, which specialization category do you think needs more local manpower?
Well, out of my humble experience in the oil and gas projects, I have faced some of these specialty we have a less or limited number of local professionals, among which is the welding, not the welders alone. Like internationally certified welders there are very talented people, but they are limited. So not all the companies have internationally certified and accredited welders. And also in the HSE, like the emergency response and also the advanced process safety, as well as the waste disposal and waste management professionals. So these are, we may have very talented people, but we are facing a shortage in the local market for these areas of specialty.
Okay, that's absolutely amazing. That was very fruitful. So we want to come to the final statement of yours. You mentioned that you want to be called a specialist, not an expert. But as a specialist, what's your best advice for the future or right now fresh graduates? Because I believe you mentioned a point earlier regarding this matter, but we would like to hear the the final statements that rings from Mr. Bruce for the fresh graduates or the current employees to improve themselves further and their career in the field.
All right. Coming to the my advice as an academic, I always tell my students and the course participants, the degree, the university degree alone is not securing a work in the oil and gas industry nor any other industries. So nowadays, due to the recent advancement and development of the technologies and the lifestyle, the private sector companies and including the oil and gas industry has came with more demandings and these requirements do include in nowadays like having communication skills basically as the English language since it's among the international language and the most widely spoken in the oil and gas industry both academically as a references and resources books etc and also by the technology providing companies to the oil and gas. What do I mean by this? Things like running any tool or machine and device comes with a manual. So you need to have a better understanding of these technologies. And this will come by enhancing your soft skill, your English language skills, also to be able to work in teams during your university life and do some volunteering work to enhance your CV or resume and also as much as you participate in workshops seminars within your universities your institutes this is before the graduation then after the graduation the university graduates or the fresh graduates need to enhance their CVs in terms of participating in trainings they can take as much as free trainings or the paid trainings afterwards, targeting the positions that they wish to apply for in the oil and gas industry. So, for engineering disciplines, things like English language, the IT skills, the safety trainings are required in industry. So, these trainings will enhance the chances there and also empower their CVs to be more attracted by the job recruiters,
Providers.
providers generally. And as per the other disciplines which are out of the engineering, like the management and the finance, and there are plenty of positions that also we have a shortage in. I have forgotten the contract engineers or contracting people. We have a very shortage in people specialized in contracting or designing or writing international contracts, have mixing both the legal side and the technical side and to be combined in this industry. So also nowadays LinkedIn is useful, one of the useful tools, and the social media plays a vital role in facilitating these aspects to the fresh graduates. They need to only to ask, participate, then the experience and the development comes later on.
Of course, of course. Well, that was very insightful. It's always amazing to have a specialist in the field explaining in their own words how the mechanism works in the field. I wish if we had more time to listen to you, Mr. Bruce, because these information are absolutely like enlightening and they're very helpful for us and for the audience at the same time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Didar, for having me here and for your hospitality. And also, I hope that I have shed lights on the most important areas in this industry with this short time that I have. Thank you very much again.
Well, you surely did. Thanks to you. And as for our audience, please do not forget to comment below the next topic that you would like us to cover. We will be inviting a special guest like Mr. Bruce to enlighten the unknown answers of your questions. Stay tuned and have a lovely time.